My clients hired me to inspect a 2026 Forest River Riverstone fifth wheel. And oh my gosh, I am so glad they hired me because what I found had their RV in the shop for, it's been about a month now. Hi, everybody. It's Deb with Deb's RV Services, and welcome to today's video. Today, I have an inspection story for you. I had a couple clients that watched my YouTube channel, so thank you for hiring me after watching my videos. But I had these people contact me, and we decided on a checklist inspection because it was going to be more educational for them. I could walk around the RV with them, showcase the things that I find, and it helps for some people that actually want to be with me. I don't allow it on my premium inspections, but I do allow it on more of a consult checklist type of inspection. So what I do is I still give them a report and I go around the whole RV and point out things to them so they can see it too, and they can kind of see what I do. That way, if they decide not to purchase an RV, they kind of have an idea of what to look for. So anyway, I worked with this couple, really nice people, and met them there. And what we did first was get on the roof. I told them that's what I like to do, is start out on the roof, because it really is important, especially in the summertime, to get on the roof as early as possible. It is the entry point too for a lot of water, so it's good to look at the roof first. So we went ahead and climbed up there, and we were navigating through solar panels and different things. It was difficult to get across the roof because it was basically covered in solar. So the first thing I noticed was the skylight. And what was weird about the skylight is the sealant. The sealant looked completely different than the other type of sealant for all the other roof components, which that was interesting. Either the tech ran out of sealant that he was using and used something different, but I didn't like the sealant that was on there because it looked like, which some people told me could be alpha. I'm not really sure how alpha looks after using it for a while, but somebody did mention that's kind of what it looks like. But it just doesn't look as good, and it had a lot of holes already starting in the sealant, and it looked like water intrusion was going to happen. You could see the flange of the skylight, which means that it's already like almost to that point where you're going to see those cracks. And I recommended that that get completely scraped off and resealed. While I was over there, I always check from the roof. I check down into the sidewall. I will check the windows from the top view. And what I noticed was like really shocking and something I hadn't seen before. But right there at the trim rail of the slide where the seal attaches, there was a gap, a wide open gap. I'm not sure how this happened, like how it pulled away from itself, but that was a huge entry point for water, and it was complete damage to the RV. So that whole area needed to be repaired. I don't know how long that would take, but I assume that's not a quick job. Who knows if this RV, how long it has been like that, and it's been sitting out in the elements if water got in, but I didn't see any. So from the interior, I looked for that and I could not find any areas where water got in. So that just needs to be sealed up super quick to make sure and avoid any type of further damage. I went on the inside of the RV, and here was another thing. Now remember, this is a brand new 2026 fifth wheel, and there's a humongous gouge in the flooring. So I was talking to my clients about it, and we are trying to figure out what happened. And once I realized that the furniture actually has to be moved in order to bring slides in, it was really like a big aha moment. Because what happens is you might have techs or the driver of the RV, whoever it is, they come in, they're bringing in the slides, they're doing everything quick so that they can travel and drop this thing off. Well, this particular model floor plan, you needed to actually move the furniture first before you bring in the slides. There are some models out there, and it's something that you might want to actually think about when you're purchasing. What is the floor plan? What is required for me to travel? And when I bring these slides in, is it going to confine off certain space? Do I have to move furniture? What has to get out of the way? Do I have access to this, to that? These are things you really need to think about, because with this floor plan, what happened was one of the wheels under the couch had fallen off. And so that metal was gouging into the floor when the slides were coming in, and the furniture was not moved into its proper place. So the slide actually moved the couch. So it created a ginormous tear in the flooring. which, from what I found out through my tech friends, means that they would have to actually replace the whole floor. And that's no small job either. So I still haven't heard back from, what I did was I checked up with my clients and I asked them if they had their RV yet, if it had been repaired, because this inspection was, I believe it was a little over a month ago. When I contacted them, they still didn't have their RV yet because these repairs are taking a very long time. So onward and upward. One thing I want to pause and say here is that when you are picking out an RV, you're dealing with a lot of different components, a lot of different quality issues. So it's important to know what you're getting into when you purchase an RV. That's actually why I recommend Jacob with Rigor RV's shopping guide. Instead of me trying to recreate something that's already been done really well, Jacob is a friend of mine. We have been working together for a while. I am on his list of inspectors that he trusts, but his guide walks you through how to evaluate RVs before you buy, like the slide systems, the construction quality, and the big things that can cost you thousands if you miss them. So even on top of that, if you feel confident of the type and quality of RV that you're picking and you have everything set up, you still want to hire an RV inspection. And I am still available for any consulting services if you want to speak with me about the RV that you chose and you want to work together on any capacity, okay? Please click on the link below if you're interested in Jacob's RV buying guide. Also, click on the link to go to my website and you can fill out my contact form if you would like to book any appointments with me. The next problem that I found was the control panel was not working very well. And I've seen this before where you have an RV where everything works off a control panel. And when you're trying to bring in a slide or you're trying to bring an awning in and out, it starts the process and just stops. So you have to press the button again to have it continue and it just stops. And I've seen this before, and this usually means that the control panel itself just needs to be replaced. It was happening with both the awning and the slide. So they probably just needed to replace the control panel, which it happens. You can get bad control panels, but I've seen this before where the stop and start on the control panel with the awnings and the slides, and it's really annoying to have to keep pressing the button. The next thing that was super interesting was on the exterior, underneath when you have fifth wheels, you know how you have that front cargo area? Well, right underneath there were these screws sticking out, like not just a little bit. I'm talking like freaking back scratchers. Like you could crawl under there and rip your back open. So what happened was the tech must have ran out of screws. All that was needed were the short little 1-inch screws, and they put in like 3-inch screws. I think that's probably what it was. And they were super long sticking out. I wrote that up because that's nonsense. No one should have to worry about if they get underneath or they're accessing anything, because you have to access things underneath an RV, and that is not right. You shouldn't have screws sticking out like daggers underneath a cargo area of an RV. That's just ridiculous. So then I found out that the battery was super low and they didn't do the PDI on this. So, which I've said before, it's super important that they at least do some type of PDI to make sure there's a good working battery, because the battery was just low. So I couldn't properly test the inverter because the minute you turn the inverter on, it sucked all the battery juice out and it wouldn't work. So this needed to have a fresh set of batteries in there so that the inverter could be tested properly, so you could see that it can run, what outlets are working, that it works the refrigerator if that's what it's supposed to do, and that you also have the right hertz and the right voltage for each. We also had a problem with the dishwasher. It did not work correctly and was throwing a code, so I had to write that up. In the furnace, the ducting was not correct, because when you would turn on the furnace, it would only work the ducting in, I believe it was the rear area, but then none of the other areas got heat. So that wasn't set up properly from the manufacturer, and so that needs to be repaired. And then the other thing that I found was we found some hydraulic fluid around the jacks, because they're hydraulic jacks, and there was, I think it was on probably 3 out of the 4 jacks, there was hydraulic fluid. So you guys, this was a mess of a new fifth wheel for my client. And like I said, they still don't have their RV. This inspection was over a month ago, and it's unfortunate, but I am so thankful, and so are they, that they got an RV inspection and they hired me to come out. We walked and talked and worked on this together, looked at everything together. My clients were very happy for the services that they received. So hopefully as soon as they get that RV, I will hear from my client and they can tell me how the repairs are. Hopefully they fixed everything and they fixed it correctly. How would you feel about the situation? Would you still buy the RV if I found those things? Or would you allow the dealership to fix it, go ahead and sign the contract and check and make sure that everything was fixed correctly and then go out and camp? Tell me what you think in the comments. All right, you guys, I will see you on the next video. Take care.